Hi, Teri here from Stamping Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Today's project is another birthday card. I've used the Bonanza Buddies stamp set together with the coordinating Bonanza dies and the Birthday Bonanza Designer Series paper. And I've made this into a pop-out panel card. It's super cute with those lovely images. And on the back is another panel where you can write your message. So let's get started. These are all the measurements you need for all the elements required to create this project. So if you are interested in reproducing it, you can take a screenshot and refer to it later. My card base is going to be in Bermuda Bay, and this is just half a standard sheet of card, scored in the middle and folded. And we're going to use it in the landscape orientation today. Then you need another strip of Bermuda Bay, and this needs to be as long as your standard sheet of card. So for A4 it will be 29.7 centimetres. For 8.5 by 11 inch users, it will be 11 inches, and you want to score it in the middle as you normally would. This is the Bonanza Buddies stamp set, and I'll be using most of the images and sentiments today. I'm going to start with the balloon stamp and the pom-pom stamp on one block, and I'm going to decorate my Bermuda Bay strip. I'll be using Bermuda Bay ink, and I'm just going to randomly stamp all over the strip. The strip now needs to be scored. Now if you're in the US or Canada and use 8.5 inch by 11 inch card, you want to score your strip at 2 3/4 inches, 5.5 inches, which is the midway point, so you might have already done that, and 8.25 inches. Now if you're in the UK or Australia and use A4 card, you want to score your strip at 7.4 centimetres from each end. You should have already scored at the halfway point, which is 14.85 centimetres. I've pre-done most of the stamping and die cutting. I've just left the back mat to do now, and I'm going to be stamping on normal weight whisper white card. I'm going to align my present stamp first of all, making sure there's enough room to add the toucan later. Is it toucan or toucan? Not sure. Then I can pick up my stamp with my plate, ink it up with terracotta tile ink and stamp it down. I'm now going to position the bird so he stood on top of the present. Pick him up with the plate, and this time I'll ink him up with Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I'm going to stamp him twice to get a nice dark impression. Finally, I'm going to position the bow to go on the present and pick it up with my plate and stamp that with Memento as well. Now later on I did add a hat and a pom-pom to this little bird, so you'll see that in the photos. I'm using the Stampin' Blends alcohol markers to colour his beak, starting with dark Bermuda Bay, then dark Mango Melody, and finally dark Daffodil Delight. Then I'm going to use the light Pool Party marker and go around the entire image, and this just helps it pop off the card. I've gone ahead and layered up all the mats I need to decorate the card base. Now you'll end up with 4 panels, one for the front, one for the back and 2 for the inside. and I can now go ahead and add these to my card base. To decorate the front and for the inside panels, you need more Bermuda Bay mats and Whisper White mats. Now the Whisper White mats have been created using the stitched So Sweetly dies. The front mat used the largest die, and the inside mats, you need 4 of them, used the 3rd size down. I'm going to stamp a sentiment onto one of the inside panels, and I'm also going to have a sentiment on the front of the card, so I've got a piece of scrap Whisper White for that. I'm going to prep both pieces with my embossing buddy first of all, because we're going to be heat embossing. I'm going to be stamping both sentiments using VersaFine Onyx Black ink. Now I love this ink because it's intensely black and also it stays wet long enough that you can emboss with it. So I've stamped my happy birthday sentiment. I'm just going to cover that with clear powder, and then I'll put that aside and stamp my other sentiment onto the inside panel. And then I can also cover that with clear embossing powder. Then I can melt the powder with my heat tool. Now the sentiment for the front of the card will be cut out using another of the Stitch So Sweetly dies. This is the 2nd size up. And once it's die cut, I can layer it onto the It's Mango Melody mat and add dimensionals to the reverse. For the front panel, I'm going to have my sentiment at the top, and then I want a big pile of presents underneath it. So I've stamped out lots of the presents in the different shapes and colours, and I'm just going to add these underneath my sentiment panel. My inside panel will also have a pile of presents underneath it. Now, unfortunately, I didn't hit record and I'd already started adding these to the panel, so there's only 2 left to add. All of these will be glued flat. There are 3 different characters in the stamp set, and I'm going to use one on each of the remaining 3 panels. Now, all of these elements have been cut out using the coordinating Bonanza dies. All the presents were hand cut. All the different elements for each of the inside panels will be glued flat. I don't want to add any dimension inside because that will make the card bulkier than I want. So I've added my 2 gift boxes to the bottom of the panel, and then I'm going to add my little bird so he's standing on them. And then I can add his hat and finally his little pom-pom. The koala panel and the lion panel are going to be very similar. They're each going to be holding balloons. So I'm going to stamp the strings using Memento ink on the left hand side and then build all the other elements around them. I'm going to add a little shadow under both the lion and the koala using my light smoky slate blends. These panels can then be layered onto the Bermuda Bay mats. I can now add the panels to my Bermuda Bay strip. Now I've stuck this strip to my grid paper using some temporary adhesive to stop it moving about, and I'm going to use my grid paper to help me center each of the panels on each of the sections. I can now fold on the score lines of this strip. The centre fold will be a mountain fold and the other two will be valley folds. And you want to reinforce each of them with your bone folder as you fold them. I can now add the strip of panels to my card base. Now I have marked the edges of my card base so I know where the centre is. I want my panels in the middle. I'm just going to add my glue to the first and last section of that Bermuda base strip. You could add it to the complete panel if you want to, it wouldn't make any difference. And I'm aligning the edge of the strip with the edge of the Mango Melody mat, not the edge of the card base. So when both sides are glued into position, the centre two panels will be raised up slightly. And this you want because you don't want that centerpiece inverting. Then all I need to do is add my front panel. And that's it, the card is now complete. I really do like these papers, I think they're so cute. And all the images. Of course I had to make a box to hold my card. And this uses all the same products. Now, if you're interested in making a box for your card, I'll leave a link to a video showing you how to do it at the top right of the screen. I use one of our mini pom-poms on his hat this time and I think it's just adorable. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now.